With Phantom Pain being only a few days from release, I wanted to go back and take a look at the old gameplay trailers to show you just how Phantom Pain evolved into the game it is now. You remember this video? It was shown at E3 of 2011. It was an interview with Kojima where he showed off the Fox engine.
Well, this engine we call the Fox engine. It's a Kojima Productions original engine. Up until now, we have been developing games exclusively for specific platforms. But in the future, we look to go more global. And we are paving the road to go multi-platform for future titles. Of course, the dev tools are included, so hopefully we can push out great games with shorter development time. Currently, it looks like this. We started to create this engine shortly after we finished up MGS4, and continued to develop it alongside Peace Walker. We've made it this far, and now it's time to utilize this tool for my upcoming unannounced game, and of course brush it up while we use it. And in the future, I hope to make this engine the best in the world. Our engine, Kojima Productions engine, this is the Fox engine.
It really is amazing looking back at this video. If you look closely, you will see a lot of the assets that we're going to be using in Phantom Pain were shown here first. From D-Horse, to the Child Soldier, to the watchtowers that look like the ones in Ground Zeroes, to the area where all of it is being shown resembling Africa. It really is just awesome to see how much Kojima planned, even way back in 2011.
This is a game though, right?
Right. This is a game. Our designers and artists are using the engine and its tools to work in assets at the time, experimenting here and there, but it's not necessarily for my next game. They're just placing items in the stage for purpose of research.
Well, so when do you think you'll be showing us more about this? What more can you tell us about it?
Well, I really can't say much about when, but my next game, my next project to utilize this new engine will be a multi-platform game and will be transferring enabled for a global audience.
It really is a shame that he might not ever get to use the Fox engine anymore, considering what happened between him and Konami. It's sad to see all that hard work put into the game potentially go to waste. After this video, it would be a few years before we got the first glimpse of Ground Zeroes, but this video is showing you the differences during its development, so I'm not going to waste much time. I'm going to be looking at two videos. The original gameplay reveal of Ground Zeroes and the nighttime demo that was shown a few years later. Immediately in Ground Zeroes, the differences are in the terrain, the textures, the overall lighting, and even the design of Camp Omega itself. They all look way different compared to the actual release of Ground Zeroes that we got in March 18th. But in this first demo, it seemed like the ability to mark enemies was not included, and the binoculars are also missing some details. Reflex mode and the awareness indicator might have been a gameplay mechanic already in place, but they were just turned off for this demo, or they were not added in altogether until much later in development. The HUD is practically non-existent here as well, except for maybe one time when Snake changed weapons. The crosshairs / aiming reticle are also very static. The only thing seen here is that it turns red to indicate your weapon's effective range. Speaking of weapons, it also seems that Snake only has one primary weapon and one secondary, or rather, a throwable weapon, those being the MRS-4 rifle and the flare grenades. The iDroid is pretty bare bones as well. You can see that the only thing visible is the map and how different it looks here. No icons or any interface to be seen. It seems that there was not even a way to manually call a landing zone for the chopper either, which is probably why they used the flare grenade to do it. In fact, in this demo there were no landing zones at all, and you can call a chopper anywhere. I'm not sure if this was the original plan, or if landing zones were planned from the beginning and simply added later in development. And finally, the way you exit missions via chopper is also different, with Snake standing near the chopper's door instead of sitting on the edge like in later demos. Clearly this version of MGS5 is very basic compared to later versions. Now in the following demo, we see that they added the blue filter that a lot of people didn't like. They changed the layout of the map. They added marking and reflex mode and gave the iDroid an actual interface. And now you can only call a chopper to a landing zone. The map of the iDroid itself is much more detailed here and has a lot more tiny details than in the first demo, like showing where Snake has been by a line of dots. Snake now sits on the edge of the chopper and can even shoot out of it, and the crosshairs look a little bit better than the last demo, but it seems it could still use work. Now we skip all the way to the Afghanistan demo for Phantom Pain. The changes here are less compared to Ground Zeroes, besides the small details that are in Phantom Pain because of its open world nature, like telling you the time of day and the current location. There is also some more detail in the iDroid. The map looks a lot better and the interface seems more streamlined. The binoculars have more detail to them and you can now place markers with them. In Ground Zeroes you could place markers, but now instead of it being one at a time and only through the iDroid, you could place more than one marker and you can do so with the binoculars. Here is another shot of the iDroid and its revamped menu, also showing mother base features, as well as another look at the map. The HUD has also been changed with a little bit more detail. And also, they changed the MSF logo to the Diamond Dogs logo, and then changed the weapon window itself to show the weapon a little bit differently than in Ground Zeroes. In this demo, we were introduced with the Fulton and the Phantom Cigar. I know the Fulton was in Peace Walker, but still, the Fulton seemed like it was infinite in this demo, and it only cost a small amount of GMP to use, and could lift just about anything from humans to huge containers. And the Phantom Cigar seemed like an infinite use item that was able to fast forward time. I'll come back to these later though. But speaking of GMP, that was all there was in this demo. There seemed to be no particular indication of other resources other than GMP. Again, maybe it was just for this particular demo, or it was a feature added much later. The last thing to notice is that Snake's vest with the tiger stripe camo is black instead of green like shown in later demos. Maybe it's a customization thing. We'll find out when the game releases. Now comes the Africa demo, and again the same things happen. The iDroid interface gets changed and it looks a little bit more cleaner, and more details are added as we go along here. The HUD seems to be not that different compared to last time, though the Diamond Dogs logo is gone from the weapon window. While the Fulton is still shown to be limitless here, the Phantom Cigar has been changed to be a limited use item. The last thing to notice is how at this point the emblem on Big Boss's right arm is still the MSF logo, which would be later replaced with a custom emblem that the player could create. And that's pretty much it for the Africa demo. We're gonna end this video with the E3 2015 demo. The biggest change in this demo, at least in my opinion, is that now the chopper acts as your home away from home, letting you customize your loadout and anything else you need between missions. And Snake also has the custom emblem on his right arm pad. Again, the iDroid is getting more improvements to its design and interface, but not much else to say here. We finally see that it costs resources as well as GMP to deploy on a mission or free roam. Here you can also see that you can play as other soldiers and not just Snake, as well as the green vest Snake now has instead of the black one from the earlier demo. When Snake Fultons this guard, you can see that not only the Fultons are no longer unlimited, but now you can get an indication of how much GMP you spent and have left. In this demo we also see the inclusion of trials and challenges. If they're called something else, then I don't know. Basically these things keep track of what you do, from headshots to CQC takedowns to even how many times you're shot. Even the binoculars have their subtle changes to make the overall design look cleaner. I didn't mention the binoculars in the Africa demo because the only thing that really looks different there is that the analyzer is included, and we all know that's an upgrade. And those are most of the biggest changes that I was able to notice in these demos. I know there are more demos that have their own changes, like the mother base video where the only thing I was able to find was a description change for the sneaking suit, which was about FOB stuff anyway. And the reason I didn't talk about stuff like the tranquilizer pistol not having an infinite use suppressor in Phantom Pain was because it might just be an upgrade like it was in Peace Walker. But tell me in the comments, did you find this video interesting? Was there anything I missed? Let me know. With that being said, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Phantom Pain videos.